Hi, I'm Dawn Montefusco, life coach for writers and creatives, and this is the Ultimate Writer Series, how to break through resistance, ignite your muse, and honor your soul's calling. And today we have a very special guest, Joyce Rockwood. She's a certified colon hydrotherapist and has owned and operated 2 successful wellness studios in New York City, served as director of colon hydrotherapy at the Springs in LA, and has guided thousands of people to live more productive, joyous, and healthy lives. Joyce works with athletes, entertainers, entrepreneurs, and global game changers to embody optimal health and well-being. Her clients have overcome a wide variety of commonly unresolved health issues and tap into remarkable vitality. She was also the executive producer and host of her own global video series, Plant-Based Champions. Hi, Joyce.
Hey, beautiful.
Oh, it's so good to see you.
I love being here with you and being a place of service for your tribe.
This is so great. So my tribe, if you're wondering what's going on here, we're going to tell you what's going on here because there's a direct link that I have found between creative resistance, writing resistance, and gut health. And we're even going to talk a little bit about how scent and essential oils also comes into play to get you out of resistance. And Joyce is awesome at this. But before we go into that, why don't you tell us about any projects you're working on or anything you're excited about that's happening?
Oh, thank you so much. I'm always excited when I'm in a space to serve those who are ready and willing to show up 100% and really reclaim their vitality. And I work best with people who are in that space, who really believe that, you know, we have a say in our own well-being. That's my position, that we always have the ability to shift whatever is going on in our bodies, that we can reclaim our vitality through nourishment, and it exists on many fronts. It's not just juicing and food combining, some of the basic elements of my gut loving technique, but through these other aspects of well-being. It's who we surround ourselves with, doing joyous and creative things with our time, filling our cup with those things that really make us light up. And so I've actually got a program right now called Be Your Own Wow Factor.
That's right.
So, you know, it's a program that allows me to work with individuals on a private level with that customized, personalized connection, with like a low investment. With, you know, a lot of times we know that private coaching can be a big investment. So I created that program for people who are ready to step in, but don't want to have that high expense right away. So that's what I'm working on right now.
I love it. I love it. So that everyone knows the real deal, because I love talking raw and authentic and real, is you had a 5-day challenge and we have the same business coach, and we're in the same community of lots of mission-driven women who are doing online businesses and really want to get out there and help people. And she had a 5-day challenge, and I was just like, it's Joyce, I want to check it out. And then the strangest thing happened. I started to follow her protocol for this cleanse-ish. Is that what you would call it? Kind of
cleanse, or, you know, just dietary changes, right?
Yeah, like a dietary change.
Challenge, let's face it, it's called Shed Your Shit. So
yeah, it's called Shed Your Shit, people. Got it? And so it consisted of juicing a certain way in the morning, first thing, and then eating a certain way, which was actually really, really easy. Having, just so you know, so it's not a mystery, it's, you know, eating your raw veggies and salads earlier in the day, and then you go into some of your cooked vegetables at night, and you eat your protein last. Yeah. And it's very easy, so don't let this all confuse you. But what was surprising to me on a massive scale was that I didn't realize I was living with a bunch of bloating and inflammation and heaviness, and it was getting in the way of my writing. It was getting in the way of my creativity and my ability to feel clarity. I mean, really. And then I just said, hey, let's do this. And all of a sudden, by day 3 or 4, I'm literally shedding my shit, and my bloating is gone, and my inflammation is, I mean, I can feel it in my body. And I started writing like a maniac. I was waking up easier. I was sleeping better. And I realized that I'd noticed this in my clients, the years working with my clients. I've asked them about nutrition, but not really being the expert in that. So I'm always saying, you know, Are you eating well? Are you exercising? Because that plays into your writing. And I was dumbfounded. So can you tell us a little bit about how, when we change our internal gut health, how that comes out? I mean, you've worked with entertainers and athletes, and we're dealing with writers here, how that helps the creative process, or just the process of being in alignment.
First of all, I'll say one of the reasons I love working with entrepreneurs and creatives is because I grew up in a creative world. I am creative, like, everything I do is about color and essence and feeling and vibe. My father's a photographer, so I'm extremely visually oriented, right? It's like everything has to have its place, like everything behind me. So,
and you write badass copy. I mean, she really is an amazing writer. Like, that's like a whole other part of her, but let's stay on top.
The whole thing is, like, even if we just talk for a moment, Dawn, about the whole gut-brain connection, like,
yes.
it's not what I say, it's the science. The science is that the gut and the brain are intrinsically, like, they are very connected.
Yes.
If we want to talk about the science for a second, to go there.
Yes, I do.
So much more about the gut now than we did even just 10 years ago, or when I first started out doing this 23 years ago. We have so much more information because the tools, the scientific tools that we can use for the research, have really become very fine-tuned. And so there are 100 million neurons that line the gut. That's more than what goes on in the spinal cord and the peripheral nervous system combined. So we have more neurons in our gut than in our spinal cord and in our peripheral nervous system. Like, does that tell us that dealing with our gut is probably a pretty smart place to start?
Yeah.
So when we are feeling better, right? Emotions are chemical responses in our bodies. And if we're talking about creatives and writers, we're writing from a place of feeling most of the time. It's like thoughts are about how we feel in this world, how we're showing up. And so emotions in the body are triggered by the cleanliness and the purity. I mean, everything is going to be triggered in an environment in a much more relevant way, in a much more sufficient and efficient way, if the environment is not polluted, right? Our gut is loaded with, impaction and gas, and we're bloated. We're not going to feel good, emotionally or physically. Like, we're going to feel like our energy is low. We want to just lay in bed. But when you're feeling great, when you have 3 bowel movements a day, Lord knows you just want to frolic and run and tell the world about whatever your mission is. So I get to work with creative people, clearing the pathway down here to reach the brain. And I mean, I don't think anyone watching this has ever had a moment where that isn't relevant. Like, if
I agree.
Right? If you have a bellyache, do you feel like running around and having a party?
No, let alone sitting down and writing, which is such a sedentary situation. People get edgy, they're like, I mean, it's like meditation, you have to sit still. And if you feel, I know when I feel off, and so in like 1993 or 94, I forget his name, it was Michael somebody. He just literally discovered and coined the term stomach brain. So I forget his name because now there's been so many of them, but it was 1993, 94. The reason I know that is I was actually teaching that. I've never told you this. When I was teaching writing at the college, and when I started first teaching life purpose coaching, I was like, wait a second. We have a stomach brain? Like, we should be following our gut, but if our gut is all messy, like our serotonin, most of our serotonin is made in the stomach lining. Like,
well, it's actually in the gut. It's more in the colon than the stomach.
Oh man, I didn't even know that. So I'm a big advocate for, especially after working with you, for really, I mean, there's no way around it, people. You got to have good digestive health. That's the main giant organ. Isn't it, like, other than the skin? Well,
the colon is, first of all, that's just for those listening. Your stomach is about the size of your fist. It's the organ underneath your left rib cage. Your colon is the last part of the digestive system. It's the wastebasket. It's 5 to 7 feet in length, and it's shaped in the gut like an upside down U, going from the right to the left side of the body. And so when we're talking about the colon and we're talking about serotonin, yes, 95% of our serotonin is produced in our gut. And for those who are not sure, This is a very powerful hormone / neurotransmitter that is managing your mood, your food cravings, your sex drive, your body temperature. And it's a very powerful thing because you can actually manage and trigger your serotonin by the foods that are on the end of your fork.
Mm-hmm.
So like when I'm working with people and we're transforming the way in which they think about nourishing themselves, look, you don't have to be a raw food vegan to work with me. Most of my clients are still eating, animal foods, and that's fine, but it's how to eat it, how to place it, make it most sensible. And when we start reducing the amount of that naturally, just by including more plants and, fruit in the diet and including vegetable juices and things like that, we start opening up the pathways for transmission so that the serotonin is actually reaching the brain where it needs to go. And so this is a powerful way for people to start managing their mood and their writing, because look, you're going to feel more open and more clear and more lucid.
That's a big deal with writers, by the way, mood. I get that a lot. Like, I'm not in the mood, or I don't know, I just feel in the mood, or moods and writers go hand in hand. What I didn't know until like this last year, really, like understand it on a real serious level, is they're discovered that like, your physical body and how what you eat affects how you feel, then will accidentally create thoughts and feelings that you're now writing a story about. So say you're eating a certain way and you're just feeling, you don't know this because you're so used to feeling a certain way. And then you start thinking a certain way. Then you start thinking, well, I guess I'm not a writer. Well, I guess I'm not an artist or creative because I'm not in the mood to do it. Or I don't know why, but when I was younger and more active, maybe eating differently, I felt a different way. And so I was able to write more and get my book done. A lot of people used to write. So the idea is like most of my audience wrote a lot at some point in their life and then they stopped. And what I never realized is that as I got older, I got more sedentary. I actually got some more money. So I started eating actually more poorly because I was like, ooh, let's get the steaks. So let's get, eat all the mashed potatoes and the fancy dishes with the cheese and the sauces and da-da-da-da. And then, that's all nice and dandy. But what I didn't realize is the sedentariness, the way that I was eating was really affecting my moods on a level that I couldn't even begin to understand until I started to shed my shit and do the 5-day challenge. What is it about movement too? I really want people to understand this. Movement in the body, clearing the body. When we think about creation and source energy and being a writer and being able to pour it on out, there's, I think, an obvious relationship to digestion, colon, health, and that kind of thing.
Yeah, the science is in. So it's undeniable and undisputable that exercise also is going to trigger the microbiome and support gut motility, which is the movement, the natural movement that we create to have bowel movement. And so for people who have a hard time having bowel movements with frequency, by the way, my creatives out there listening, if you're not having 3 bowel movements a day, you are constipated. Look at me when I say that and they're like, what? 3? And I'm like, yeah, actually 3 minimum. You should be having 1 for every meal you eat. Most people eat 3 meals a day, and then another 1 or 2 in the same day. That means most people should be having about 4 to 5 movements a day.
Crazy.
When you shake your head like that, I immediately say, have you ever had an infant, babysat a niece and nephew, your own kid? Look, this infant, 10 pounds, like 8 to 10 pounds as it starts growing, they're having like 6 to 10 movements a day. And they're taking breast milk, for heaven's sakes.
Yes.
The level of metabolic waste is 60% of a bowel movement. So movement, it's not just what you ate. There's metabolic waste attached to that. Blood is sloughing off, cells are dying, organs are doing their thing. We're taking in lots of pollutants in the air, believe it or not. Like the soot that you see on your furniture in your house, like we're taking that in. We're a huge filter. So when we're talking about movement, dance is a huge part of my life. I love dance. I love swimming. I love trampolining. I love biking. So all of those things are things I would say to, all of the creatives listening, like you've got to move your body. And it's part of cleansing and clearing and making sure the gut is staying vital.
Tom Robbins, a great writer, wrote Half of Sleep in Frog Pajamas. He wrote, if you're familiar with his work, he has a genre. But when he was big in the 80s and 90s, and people interviewed him and said, how is it that you can produce such great work? And he goes, I eat cabbage. He was like joking about one of these interviews. He's like, I eat a lot of cabbage and I exercise. And that's actually part of my writing routine. He's like, I eat lots of plants. He goes, and I play, I think it was, not softball, racquetball. He goes, and it's part of my writing routine. That's what, it blew me away. It taught me that at a very young age. Now, I love the TMI here. I love too much information because my boyfriend, who probably won't watch this, he'll watch some of these. He hates talking about poop. It's so funny. And there are people out there that are like, no. And there's a t-shirt you've probably seen, and if not, I'll have to get it for you. And it just says, I pooped today. It's a stick figure on a brown t-shirt.
I use bloomers as like underwear.
Yeah. And so I've been joking with him. I was like, I'm going to get you that t-shirt, because then he's like, no, don't talk about it. But what was interesting is when I was doing the 5-day challenge, it was great. I was like, it's true, this is happening. And he goes, what's happening? And I'm like, I'm pooping like 2-3 times a day. I'm writing more than I've ever written before because I have this energy. I'm sleeping like a rock. And literally he's like, la, 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 la. He's like, don't talk about poop so much. And then eventually I'm me, so I'm going to continue to be me. And he gets a kick out of it. And then he got really curious, so I got him to do some juicing here and there and that and the other thing. But he definitely admitted that when he started eating more plant-based stuff and doing the juicing, and he got into jiu-jitsu finally, he started doing some physical work. He started playing more guitar, started just feeling more vitalized. So I just want to say how imperative it is that we all hear what Joyce is saying, because of the direct correlation, and I've talked to my clients about this for a long time, and now more than ever, between gut health, brain health, and creativity. That there is so if you feel, so say someone came to you and was this, I'm sure you've had this, they're like, wow, my moods, you just mentioned it, but I want to say it again. Their moods have changed. They feel more alive.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Right? More energy to pop out of bed in the morning. Like they're, excited and eager to take on the day versus like hitting the snooze. I always say, are you still hitting the snooze?
That's great. Are you still hitting the snooze? I love that. Okay, so let's switch gears for just a little bit, because I really want to switch gears for a little bit and talk a little bit about, because I'm very passionate about this as well, scents and essential oils and smell as a way to instantaneously, I feel, get out of resistance.
Yeah. So this is fun. I mean, what oils do you have? I've got my passion oil here, my inspiring blend.
Okay, Elevation, In Tune, which is the focus blend. Elevation I love. And then when anxiety plagues writers. I mean, that's a thing. We're plagued by anxiety. Serenity. Yeah. When I feel like I write and all of a sudden my internal critic has gotten the better of me and I don't know what to do, I get a little bit of serenity. Take a moment and tell us why and how essential oils literally shifts your mind. I mean, really in seconds.
So it's really amazing. This is one of the reasons why I started working with essential oils about 4 years ago. It became a non-negotiable. It was like I couldn't refuse it anymore because the responses were so fast for my clients. So here's the thing, the science. Okay, I always like the science because it's fact. So we can trigger a neural response in the brain through inhalation of a scent in about 30 seconds, if not 20 to 30 seconds. Now, when we're working with essential oils, this is a very important thing I want to say, and I'll just say this quickly because it's crucial that the quality and the grade of essential oils we work with be of the highest grade possible, because essential oils are triggering a response in our brain, which means the aromatic constituents, when we inhale them, go to the sinus cavity and get carried to the limbic system of our brain. That's the part of the brain that is handling our emotions, our memories, our traumas, cardiovascular and even respiratory response in the body. So we don't want to be breathing in inferior grades that could be poisoning the brain and causing an unwanted response. We want a level of efficacy that we can rely on every single time. And doTERRA delivers that. There's no doubt about it. They're the most tested. They're the most trusted. That's why I chose them.
That's why, by the way, that's why I chose them as well. Is that there's actually, if you look on oils, like at the grocery store, New Seasons or Whole Foods or wherever it will say, do not like something about warning against children handling it. There's a lot of other chemicals in a lot of the essential oils. So this is the purest, and that's important. So yeah, keep going.
Yeah, and so we can trigger that neural response in 30 seconds flat.
Wow.
It means that you can shift your behavior that fast. That 90% of human behavior is actually triggered through aroma.
Wow, I knew that. That's crazy.
And look, if you're creative, what about this fact? The fact is that your sense of smell is 10,000 times more powerful than any of your other senses. So if we're looking to reclaim your energy, your focus, your clarity, your creativity, your mojo for writing, why wouldn't you want to work with an essential oil that can support you in getting there if you are a little stuck? We're humans, we're not computers. We do get stuck. We are feeling people. We are emotional. Emotions in the body are chemical responses. These are chemicals, but they're natural ones. They come from plants, roots, stems, bark, and leaves and flowers of the plants. And so we extract them for our benefit after the plants use them, right? Plants use their own essential oils for certain defense mechanisms, and we get to use them as detoxifying agents that bring the body back into harmony and back into balance. And you won't become resistant to them. There are no side effects. There's only side benefits. You won't need more and more over time. They don't cluster and accumulate on a cellular level. They cleanse the cells. They allow the mitochondria and the DNA to elevate. So really powerful way for creative individuals to up their game.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Again, with writing, I always have analogies about how it's similar to meditation, similar to working out, because we don't always want to do it. We don't want to there are days I love it, like meditation and exercise. And there are days that I'm like, oh gosh, I need to do this for myself. Which one is that?
Motivate.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
You want to do it. Right? When you say, Dawn, there's an oil for everything. We like.
There is an oil for everything. It's so true. And, but what I love about it is it's that shift that I needed. So writers are so emotional and we're all feeling creatures, but it's like with words and getting it out right and that stuck place, I feel like it can be incredibly hard for some people to write, especially when it comes to memoir, it comes to memories, or they were told they suck when they were younger, or they were not encouraged, or they think it's too late. Yeah. And so these emotions come in like tidal waves. Yeah. And I have found that the one, like you said, 30 seconds, the thing that shifts me the quickest, it really has been the oils. I mean, even in one of my writing group, one of the clients was talking about how you can use oils for different emotional freedom factors. There's like all kinds of studies done now on these essential oils. But one of the things I want people to hear is emotions, feelings, and moods. Again, scent is your strongest scent. What is it?
Yeah, it's the trigger.
Strongest trigger, and you can use it in your favor. You can actually start. So I have a little ritual where when I sit down, I decide, am I anxious? Do I need more grounding? Am I feeling a little depressed that day? What is it that wants to shift? And I use it. It sits on my desk the whole time. So how have you helped entertainers with essential oils? And, no. You had an athlete. You had somebody who swore. You had a quote for somebody for serenity being an incredible anxiety reliever.
Well, I'm thinking right now of someone I'm working with who just landed a Broadway position for the Bob Dylan show. and she is goal-oriented on winning a Tony. And I won't say any names, but she's working with oils and she's feeling fabulous. She's sleeping better than ever. She has reversed her autoimmune disease.
Wow.
So, you know, there's really powerful ways to work with the oils. And I say to people when they ask me, well, what does that oil do? I'll say, what do you want it to do? Because we know like one oil, like lavender, is a crowd favorite for a lot of people, right? Well, that oil has maybe 20 different benefits, from gas and bloating to reducing anxious feelings to soothing itchy skin to assisting in relaxing and helping people sleep deeper. Now, most people don't think of lavender as reducing gas and bloating, but in my world, as a digestive expert and colon hydrotherapist, like, yeah, digestive malaise is a problem. People eating out and then there's something in the food, it doesn't sit well.
Ooh, I like that word. Hold on. Digestive malaise. That really sits with me. I get that. I understand what that is.
Right now, like, let's think about it. You know, as creative individuals, it's like beyond the pen, the book, and the paper. Like, you lead lives. If you don't feel well in your gut, if you are gassy or bloated, like, what's your sex life going to be like?
Totally.
So it's everything. I get to work on all fronts with my clients. It doesn't matter if you are just starting out and the concept of food combining is completely foreign to you and juicing is something you would think you'd never do, or if you're the type of person who's like really knee deep in that. I work with people from all walks of life at all levels. So to me, it's just all fun.
I love it.
But upping the game with these oils in tandem with the diet is like, these are powerful, extremely affordable tools that are at your fingertips.
I love it. I love it. This is so important. I really am grateful for you to be on the show, because like digestive malaise. I mean, I just love that you said that. And you work with such a variety of creatives that I just want this to be another tool for my audience out there. When you're feeling stuck, something's going on in the body. So, you know, we can't just rely on the brain to be so reliable if the whole body isn't in sync and in alignment. And like you said, you know, it takes 30 seconds to hit the limbic system to get you out of a stuck place. And oils have been used for thousands of years. So it's not like new. It's just that we finally are admitting to the beauty of what we have access to. And again, I will say that the quality of the oil that you use is always important. You know, that's always important.
Yeah. And look, you know, oils kind of got squashed because the pharmaceutical agencies came in with powerhouse advertising on TV. And I'm not here to poo-poo the medical community at all. We've saved millions of lives because of the level of emergency care that people can get. But I would say that our medical system here, for the most part in the US, is pretty broken, because the first call of response really should be for something natural to bring the body back into balance. But we have not been trained that way. We've been trained that the only option that we use is something pharmaceutical grade, which is synthetic. And that is what prevents the body from ever getting back to balance. So working with the oils is a powerful mechanism, because we allow the body to do what it really wants to do and to get there organically, because the oils are so cleansing. And, you know, look, if we try something natural and it doesn't work first, then yeah, I think like people have the right to choose what's right for them. But we should really be trying something natural first, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And easy and fun. So another side of this is that, you know, Joyce is super fun, like wow factor. Come on. And so she's a blast. She explains everything perfectly, like when she does her 5-day challenges in her group. And it is so much fun to like get a new oil and realize that that's going to actually help. I mean, I don't think it really gets any easier than that. You know, and I'll joke around and say this, you know, all my writers that are stuck out there, we all want the magic pill. We all want the magic pill. We want to just get unstuck and start writing. And if you could just give me the pill, I'll do it. Well, you know what? I kid you not. When I'm healthy, you know, when I have the whole digestive thing is working, but honestly, when I use my oils, it's kind of like the magic pill. Yeah. I mean, it really does work. It's weird.
Another one I love working with my creative peeps is the wild orange.
Yes. Oh, wild orange is
it's the oil of creativity, the oil of abundance.
Yes. If you haven't tried wild orange, it's amazing.
Yeah, mood elevation, all the citruses. So anyone out there who feels like, yeah, Joyce, I want to elevate my mood, you go for the citruses. So when we work together, it's like the citrus bliss, the wild orange, the lemon. The lemon is the oil of focus.
Oh, wow.
So you get to
Oh, wow.
cleanse your body internally and your liver, because a lot of the oils we'll work with are safe to take internally because we're just getting them from the rind. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I would never recommend you just grab a bottle off of a health food store shelf, because those are not safe to take internally.
They're not food grade. They're not FDA approved for any of that.
Well, these are certified pure therapeutic grades. So we are working with the cleanest, purest form of the oils in the world. They're just unmatched at this point. So yeah, wild orange, like,
Wild orange.
grapefruit.
Ah,
Green mandarin is a new one that's wonderful.
I
A lot
love
of
it. I love it. I love it. You know, time goes by so fast that it's, you know, we could talk about this till the, oh, I just love it so much. But thank you. I just really want to thank you. I'm sure, I'm hoping people out there are inspired to at least, you know, look into your gut health, look into what's going on. If you're feeling bloated, if you're feeling that digestive malaise, contact Joyce. She's more than happy to go over it with you. And you even have a free gift for us.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the easiest way to get started is to simplify things and break it down into bullets, which is how I started when I was 23, when I had my first colonic. So what I've done is I put together what I call my top 10 gut loving tips, which helps you to kind of look at that as an overview and start integrating some things that you might not yet be doing to shift your body into a more cleansing, detoxifying state, so that you can open up your gut to connect with your brain and launch your creativity button.
Oh, it's perfect. I love it. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Everybody, make sure you grab that free gift, because I bet you'll learn something about yourself.
Sometimes it's just one thing that can really change our lives, right?
It's true. Oh, it's really true.
Thanks.
Thank you so much, Joyce. This has been so much fun and such a pleasure. And I can't thank you enough for helping us out, because I want people to keep writing what they love and doing what they love. And it's always great to see someone who's also doing what they love. So thank you.
Well, it's a pleasure and an honor to be here. Your booty is my duty, as I always say. If you have any questions, you can just, once you download the gift, you'll have connection to me. So feel free to write me if you have any questions. I'm here to support you.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, you have a great night.
Thanks, love.
Okay. See you soon. Bye.
Bye, everyone.